The Biden administration is close to providing Ukraine a version of the ATACMS long-range missiles, armed with Cluster S rather than a single warhead. According to multiple people familiar ongoing negotiations, ArrowRight said interagency talks on whether to approve weapons have recently moved from the Lawmakers Committee, a meeting attended by representatives of no. 2 officials at national security agencies, to the Principals Committee, which includes heads of each agency, subject to anonymity on sensitive subject. The process culminates in President Biden's decision, with a range of 45 to 190 miles, depending on the version chosen. The cluster-armed ATACMS could allow Ukraine to strike command posts, ammunition depots and logistics routes far behind Russian front lines and Dugan defenses. Ukraine has been seeking ATACMS, which stands for Army Tactical Missile System, since last year with the support of a number of U.S. lawmakers. The U.S. decision to send cluster munitions to Ukraine is controversial because unexploded leave citizens at risk even decades later. Over summer, Biden moved a firm, long-held, no-saying issue, is still on agenda. Although ministration has backed away from initial concerns that Kiev would use long-range weapons to attack Russian territory, Pentagon still fears that withdrawing enough ATACMS relatively small military stockpiles make a difference on Ukrainian battlefield would cripple Ukrainian battlefield readiness. U.S. forces for other possible conflicts. Ukraine requested hundreds of missiles. However, the cluster-armed version of the ATACMS outnumbers those with a single or unitary warhead and is no longer considered a U.S. frontline weapon. Of an estimated 2,500 original production runs, some in the early 1990s, an unknown number were later re-equipped with unitary warheads. According to a Department of Defense fiscal year 2018 publication. However, most of the cluster variant remains in stock. It was first reported that the ATACMS cluster warhead was being considered. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told reporters ahead of Biden's meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at White House on Thursday afternoon that Biden will talk to U.S. military, its allies and Ukraine about what is needed on battlefield at any stage of war, and then ensuring that we can meet what the United States can provide while also meeting our own deterrence and defense needs. After considering all of these to date, he has decided not to provide ATACMS, but has not taken this issue off the table in the future. Sullivan said. The Pentagon declined to provide the number of ATACMS unitary warheads in the U.S. arsenal. Ground-launched missiles will be phased out by a newer long-range system starting later this year. Lockheed Martin is contracted to produce 500 ATACMS per year, all for overseas sales. Coinciding with the Zelensky meeting on Thursday, ministration announced an additional $325 million in weapons for Ukraine.